welcome back to Black Belt Gamers. This is Spoofy here. Going to be playing a little bit more Everspace 2. Mainly just a quick build for my interceptor, and then I'm going to attempt a 4K rift with it. I've used this build for quite a while. It's not like fully optimized for 4K rift. If I was doing that, I'd be running my hollow build, just because it makes it a lot more. It's a lot easier, let's just say. But anyway, the idea for this build is to perpetually have your shield, refilling from allies dying and you killing enemies, and them dying, allowing you to play more aggressively. And the more aggressive you play, the faster you can take out enemies, the more allies you spawn, the more distractions you spawn, the more attempts to refill your shield that you get. So as far as perks, I've recently changed these since ultimate refills shield and allies dying refills shield, getting this 30% increased energy. While it won't have 100% uptime, it should have enough uptime that it sees great benefit. We always have our paladin bubble. It's the best way I can refer to it as. So you get one freebie, so you don't die immediately. I always use downtime warrior. Just keeping my devices active means I can shoot my weapons forever. I probably don't need it so much on the interceptor, but it's been useful since using the gunship, so we stick with that. Our critical hits to restore alt energy, since we will be doing quite a bit of criticals with the build that I have. And I like Ride the Lightning. We do have a high shield count, so the EMP popping back at an enemy is pretty nice. And if you do manage to get up to those 5 orbs, you get unlimited boost and fire rate, but it also EMPs enemies, so it's a little bit of damage mitigation. So Symphony of Destruction is great if you're doing a crit kill build, but mine is more just rush down, burst them down type of deal. And then we have this here because if they pop my shield, it doesn't EMP, and I use Epicenter to chase them down, which incapacitates them for 4 seconds, so I get 4 seconds of that increased crit. And since we are the interceptor, we will be intercepting enemies very fast. And for devices, I use nanotransmitter, the best healing thing in the game. Missile defense just helps keep us safe. I used to use Omni Manus, but now I just leave that there. Front shield generator, that helps maintain our weapon energy too. And teleporting, because we use epicenter. There's a possibility that I might change missile defense at some point, but I kind of like it the way it is. So going into the build, we use Wrath of the Fallen, reroll or catalyst for commander set, so that we get the level 3 bonus. Mine's got pretty decent roll for revival chance, and they fight for 9 seconds, which is great. Would be nice to get one that has higher firepower, keep precision, and drop utility for something else, because I don't really value the utility too much, because I don't get much kinetic or energy damage out of devices. And then Epicenter, I just found a new one, so the damage is a little bit higher, but it's max stun duration and nearly max range. So that huge blast radius when you teleport in, it stuns groups of enemies, lets you finish off 1 or 2 specifically drones. So, and if the explosion shockwave doesn't kill the drones, they're pretty low and you can snipe them down pretty easily. So we're using Tides of Siren Sea. It doubles our shield capacity, and it doesn't recharge normally, but we can refill it so much with allies dying, spamming our ultimate and everything, that it mostly should be irrelevant. And we have it rolled with firepower, precision, and then blasters and Gauss Cannon, because the 2 primary weapons that I use are those. And then I used to use Omni Manus, but now that we have the Ascendant items, I switched it over to the frontline plating and just re-rolled the stats with all the ones that I want. Gives us a little bit more hull and damage mitigation, but you can also roll on here whatever other attributes you want for more crit chance, or whatever other passives alternatives you can roll. But we pretty much use attribute amplification on everything. And then we have this. It's overcharged, so we have extra shield capacity because that's what the build is reliant on. And this took a lot of re-rolls because I don't have attribute amplification, but I wanted the higher tier rolls of firepower and precision. Then we have, if they do pop our shield, it EMPs, which also plays into our passives. And then we just rolled some extra crit damage on there. Same thing here, we got more firepower, precision, crit damage, and weapon range. And most of these secondaries we don't really use. But they're also have been re-rolled to give us the ascendancy set. So if they do happen to damage us and our shield gets refilled by allies dying, when the shield pops back up and gets taken out, it will now heal our hull, which is nice. And then we get the 2 permanent drones, so every 20 seconds we get allies that can spawn in and get blown up to refill our shield, which that's amazing. And then we also have that last bonus. Basically gives you the what's that OCAR unit? I can't remember the name of it now, but the one that fires the big blue orbs. Yeah, we can fire those now, and they deal 20% of armor and shield capacity as energy. And right now my shield capacity is not reflecting it because of the Tides of Siren Sea, but let's see if we can get it to pop up. But my shield capacity should be 120,000, 123, or maybe close to 130,000 because of this one. Yeah, this one's the one that we want to re-equip. Oh no, it does. Okay, never mind. They did change it. So I guess it's 66,000. So that's pretty good. But yeah, on a Sentinel, you can get this to be insanely high. It's almost so much that like it can't even be popped. So, and we also run a little bit of destabilization build. So I have this set up to have good lock duration, can't be intercepted, and primary crit fires it. And then they also have the new catalyst that explodes twice at impact. That's a game changer. It basically doubles up your destabilization stacks. I've been able to get it upwards as high as 23, 24 with my ultimate active. So you have the 6 standard ones from Vigilante set, 6 stacks of that, so 60% damage, plus however many I fired. So if you average it out, because the ones that shoot have the effect 60% reduced, so about 25% per. So let's say there's maybe 4 of those, so that's 160%. So that's 10 stacks plus the other 14 that I shot, which would be another 600 and some percent damage. So yeah, we get a massive amount of destabilization bonus damage. And I haven't optimized the rolls on this because I almost never use it, since our build is based around the Gauss Cannon and the blaster. Now this one I finally changed all my rolls. It used to have like the 1% chance to slow and corrosion damage and things like that because I thought they were useful, but now we want as much damage versus each unit as possible. So this has the 20% increased crit damage innately. So I gave it Ancients, Outlaws, OCAR, and Capital Ships. GNB is another one that you can roll, but there aren't as many GNB units as there are Outlaws, OCARs, and Ancients. And then killing an enemy gives you another 1%. So because of the evolution catalyst, we have 20% bonus damage, 20% bonus crit hit damage, and then 20% bonus damage against all of those other ships. So now we're sitting at 60% increased crit damage there. Plus, if you can keep killing enemies, then you get another 25%. So that's 85% bonus damage just on the weapon itself. Then lastly, my most recent find, I just got this blaster today. So I think homing is almost necessity on this thing because it just sprays out bullets all over the place. But kind of the same idea. Give it damage to ancients, get damage to outlaws, damage to Okars. I could probably take off the damage to capital ships, but you know, I'm just going to leave it the way it is for now. But you can also take off the capital ships and do the 1%, same one I have on here, 1% damage for every enemy you kill. But I think just having that flat 20% damage bonus right off the bat, especially when you're playing the higher rifts, because there could be a chance where you're not killing an enemy every 8 seconds. So there's a possibility that I might re-roll that to just GMB, but I like the multiplicative nature that it can stack up to. So that's our build on here. We got a fairly high roll of firepower. The only way you get that a little bit higher on here is if I get a slightly better Wrath of the Fallen roll. Precision's pretty good. Everything else being close to 2,000 is really good, and utility I don't really care about. The 22% cooldown on devices is more than enough. And that's it. We're going to run this rift and see how this build goes. And I'm also running it in one of the new areas because I need a high risk area. So let's go. We're going to try this on 4K. Odds are it's probably not going to work out, but I want to see how it performs. So I used to be able to do 2K relatively easily, but that was with keyboard and mouse. I am not playing with keyboard and mouse, I'm playing with controller. So the goal is mainly going to be to avoid as much damage as possible and get in there and wipe out as many enemies as we can to keep our allies going and our shields going. And as long as we can deal enough damage fast enough, we should be able to hopefully just chase down some enemies and take them out. So we'll see what happens. I usually like to play from the outside in, so that feels some pretty good damage, I think. See that sniper drone over there. Well, now we got a nice sniper drone to help us out. Rather than utilizing my epicenter there. So you usually want to wait till they're about 800 meters away, like right there, and then we dash in. Stun them again. Oh, that thing, oh, that does good damage. That's really good damage. Not even using our ultimate yet. Let's try that out. Oh yeah, that's good. Get that extra crit chance. I see that sniper drone aiming at me. Where is he? Oh. We fill our health off this carrier right here. Usually what I like to do is I activate my ultimate until it's about 20% used, and then I cancel it so that it refills way faster, so we get a lot more shield refills off of this. Oh, we are running low on resolve, but we have to work on that. So, just a little bit faster here. So on the Okar Prime Protector, our passive. Yeah, I kind of figured that was going to happen. Don't quite have the damage for it, but if I were to run the reflected 30% damage, I think we would kill things quite a substantial amount faster. But it was worth a shot. Hey, we didn't die though. That's at least a plus, and they takes out things relatively quick. But I think I need to be playing it keyboard and mouse so that I'm not missing so many shots, because I feel like that's what's getting me here. Because I can't track the enemies with my joystick nearly the way that I would. With a mouse, so yeah, basically all that means is I don't get my reliquary at the end, so we're just gonna return from Rift. It's a good proof of concept. So the build is survivable. That's what I wanted. It doesn't have to like annihilate the Rift, but it was a worthwhile endeavor, I believe. But yeah, that'll wrap up this one. You can try out the build if you want. It's not gonna clear a 4K Rift, but I bet we could clear a 3K with it just fine. Seems more than survivable. The only way I could really get it to be any stronger would be I don't know if there's a way. Like I'd have to build around that what's it called, Executioner, make a crit build, take out all the small enemies a lot faster from range. But if I was gonna do that, I'd probably just be running the Sentinel build, just because you're a lot more tanky. But the way it is, I like this build. It's very fun. So, alright, we'll wrap it up. Spoofy signing off. Take care.